Good evening and welcome to Active Citizens Parliament. My name is Sharon Enemchuku and I'm joined in the studio as usual by the beautiful Ifoma Oji. Good evening, how are you doing?
Good evening. Is it good evening or good afternoon? Oh, this is
my brain.
It's on fire, don't worry, we understand. So good afternoon, Sharon.
Good afternoon.
And Chuku.
Why are you always calling me Wachuku?
I don't know.
Amen.
But you're a child of God,
Period. Anyways, so we have two stories for today. The U.S. has just approved $32.5 million in humanitarian aid to combat an unprecedented hunger crisis in Nigeria's northeast and northwest, including urgent support for displaced families, pregnant women, and children. Now, in Zamfara State, Governor Dauda Lawal confidently declares that if he had control over security agencies, he could end banditry in just 2 months. He claims he knows exactly where bandit kingpins are operating. With his phone, he can track them, but lacks the power to act. So now the big question is food aid enough when insecurity continues to ravage communities? But first of all, we have to give it up for the U.S. This is a big donation, $32.5 million to the North in order to support these people that have been displaced. Over 2 million people have been displaced. And just to give a background, in case people have forgotten, Boko Haram has been going on and terrorizing the Northeast for over a decade now, and it has displaced over 2 million people, and 35,000 people have been killed in the course of this terrorist act. And it is a breath of fresh air anytime we see international organizations come to partner with us to lend their arms for this good cause. But my problem with this is the 32.5 million naira. $5 million. Oh, okay, because in naira, that's going to be in billions. So now I have a problem with this. So according to the whole plan, they said that this money is supposed to assist Nigeria to reach approximately 764,205 individuals in the Northeast and Northwest. And they also said that around 41,569 pregnant and breastfeeding women and girls and 43,235 children will receive this aid through electronic food vouchers. I love the fact that they've given us this data, the numbers of people that this is expected to reach. But the problem with Nigeria has always been accountability, transparency, and appropriate distribution. How are we sure that this 32.5 million naira will not be siphoned along the way? But do you have such thoughts as well?
You know, this particular donation is not luxury, but it's a lifeline. I mean, we hear in the news every single time that there's a lot of displaced persons, a lot of persons that have been killed. Imagine 35,000 persons, about 35,000 persons have been killed, 2 million displaced. It's actually quite, disheartening that this is happening. And I really want to give it up to the U.S., for coming through for Nigerians.
Yes.
But the question I ask myself is it that Nigerians can't actually, do this for their citizens or for their own country or for these particular states? It's not like we don't have the capacity to do that. We do have it. The problem we're having is officials. The government is the problem we're having, number one.
Yes.
And then number two, in as much as I am happy, I am excited that this money that runs in dollars, millions of dollars, is actually, it's quite commendable. I'm happy that these people were able to release such an amount to, help Nigerians, the south east, right? The northeast and northwest. I'm actually quite happy. But at the same time, I feel like this is banned. It's more like bandaging a wound. When you bandage a wound, it doesn't cure the injury from the root. If you have a cut and you are bandaging it, you've not sterilized that wound before you bandage it. So it will keep on, the injury will keep on, increasing day by day. So what I'm saying now is that we're happy that they sent this money over, but when there is no peace, when there is no security, when people are starving, we know that this can actually solve that, but it does not solve the fact that there is still insecurity in the land. Yes. There is still food crisis in the land, because you want to, you know, combat hunger or fight starvation. Beautiful, but at the same time, what about the future plan? Let me say, for example, this whole project or this donation might actually last months or even a year. I don't know how they want to distribute it. But what about next year? What about next 2 years?
Good question.
That's the question I'm asking. And then you rightfully said that if this money have been, you know, give me the word. What? If the money has actually been allocated or given to them, what is the possibility that the government would distribute this money
to the
grassroots? Yes, to these people. That is another question that we ask ourselves, and it's quite sad that we keep on saying every single time the system is corrupt. There are people going through a lot. There are people going through a lot, and this is more like a breath of fresh air. And I wish the government, I wish the people in the community can actually do something, not just about distributing the aid, the logistics and the rest of them to these people, but providing the community with peace, because I believe that, I mean, peace should be the bedrock of every society.
Exactly.
You understand? If there is no peace, there is no movement at all. People can't go to the farm, peacefully farm. Because if I wanted to say something, if you give somebody fish, you need to teach the person how to fish. I'm not saying or campaigning for them giving us guns or anything like that. But this is temporal. That's what I'm trying to say. This aid is temporal. But what about permanent solutions? That is what me.
And this is where the next question comes in. I also wanted to ask, because you rightfully mentioned the fact that we are not sure that this fund is going to get to the right people. And I would have asked, but I'm sure that I've asked a similar question before, and you mentioned the fact that we need to get officials that have integrity, people that people can rely on, self-reliant people and all of that, trustworthy people, right, to assume positions. But the thing now is, this money has already been disbursed, and they obviously are still there. Those officials that we are talking about are still there, right? Now, in my opinion, I'm thinking, instead of changing the officials, we can't do that on such short notice. And even though we want to clean the entire system, it's going to take a while. Do you think, this is my idea, do you think that maybe we should change the system itself? Like, put it in a way whereby if you are going to be getting any amount of money, it has to be transparent. It has to be made known to the public. So the moment there's any withdrawal, everybody is aware that so and so minister or so and so person has withdrawn such money, and these are the number of people. I like what the US did. They gave us the statistics of the number of people that are supposed to be affected by this money. Okay, so we need to. Is there a way where we can publicly see these things on display? And if Mr. So-and-so withdraws a particular amount of money and it doesn't get to the number of people that it's supposed to get to, we can hold them accountable. Because most times what happens is that we are in the dark. We don't know who exactly to hold accountable.
Okay, if
so, like, what do you think we can be done?
If you ask me, I mean, I think social media is the great tool to use for this, because we've actually campaigned, we've said a lot of things, people have come out to protest on social media, and you see some officials, you know, adhering or listening to their clamor. So yes, social media is number one too, but it's not just social media. I think they actually need inner caucus. Apart from the officials, community leaders are equally supposed to be included in whatever they are doing, so that, because these are the people that will get to the common people. So if they are equally included and everything, like I said, transparency, I need it to be like as clear as possible. Let us be knowing the figures, and not just one person. It's not just the officials coming to tell us we've disbursed so amount to this
not
family.
Just words.
We need
to see
evidence. We need both the community leaders to confirm that, and we need those persons to equally confirm that they've actually received this money. I think with that on social media we can see that.
But do we see that happening? Actually, do we think Nigeria has that? I don't know. Do you see that happening as soon as
Nigeria
possible?
has always had the problem of accountability, and I think we say it every single time on this table. Is it not the other day that they wanted to claim or form that they are accountable or they are transparent, and they released a questionable infographic, and we had to, we tabled it on this particular table, and we are seeing the figures are not, the margins are not matching up. There was, you could see the North were receiving more than the South, and they are still telling us, even in that
there was inclusion,
there was inclusivity. It is quite, sad that we are seeing something like this. But at the same time, like I always say, we cannot stop, hoping that this will get to this thing, because if it started with the North, it's spreading from Zamfara, Sokoto, and the rest of them, it will equally come down to the South. The South is already there. At some point,
yes.
It's already brewing.
Even in the South,
yes.
At some point.
So something has to be done about
there's a figure that I saw that actually broke my heart. It was the figure of the number of pregnant and breastfeeding women. So according to the data, over 41,000 pregnant and breastfeeding women. There are others, but I was just caught by that number. Over 41,000 pregnant and breastfeeding women. So these are people that they're at a very critical condition in life. They are pregnant. They have children, little toddlers that they are feeding and catering for. Now, the picture of these women running for not just their lives, but the lives of their unborn kids and the lives of their toddlers, their children, it's quite heartbreaking. It's really heartbreaking. And I'm just saying, like you rightfully mentioned, this is a temporary fix. It's not a long-term solution. Exactly. And another thing, I don't appreciate the entitlement mentality. Exactly. This fund by the US, it was contributed, was given to the United Nations World Food Program. So this is their own quota. This is just them doing charity work. How long are we going to depend on charity work as a country, as a nation? How long? And how many more debts do we need to account for?
Let me still remind you, like always, I always remind you that your governor, your president said he has fought corruption. So this is part of it, that the reform he made or he's planning, that he has equally, like he has put everything in place. And I want to understand, insecurity in the land, is it part of the reform that he said he has made?
A lot of people just complain that it seems as though the presidency is out of touch with the grassroots. He's out of touch.
And there was a particular time I mentioned that I think it's high time for him to step into the street. Let him talk to these people one-on-one and get to hear first-hand information from them, because you could see that it's his advisors that are feeding him with a lot of positivity.
And another thing, when he comes when he makes these remarks, you will see people, especially from the ruling party, that will come to support him and will defend. There's always defense going on.
No.
When he said that there was no corruption, there were people from the same APC that came to defend it. When he said that he was putting Nigeria on a global map and trying to build our integrity, a lot of people came to publicly defend it. It's as if we are running a government that is us versus them, and it doesn't make sense.
Okay, can I say something? When I think the guy at one certain radio station was actually sacked.
The GMD.
Because he critiqued the governor of the state.
I think Ebonyi State.
Ebonyi State or thereabouts. I know he was sacked.
He was suspended.
If he was suspended, that guy don't go. Just forget it. If he was suspended, what's more, the president and the parties, when somebody is actually superior to you, you succumb to whatever the person brings to the table. That's just it. It's quite sad, but it's still left. It's still that the responsibility still lies in your hands to, you know, still do the right thing, irrespective of the person that is paying you. Though they said he who pays the piper dictates the tune. But at the same time, we all know, even the Constitution, we don't even follow the Constitution. So if we are able to, you know, do all those things and still have good conscience, because we are lacking people of good conscience. At least you can see clearly that the US still have good conscience. Exactly. Even though every single time they come up with one policy or the other, but then, you know, extending this helping hand, it shows that at least they still have our interest at heart. Exactly. You get so, but I wish our leaders can equally, you know, imbibe,
and they should remember that we are their own people. We are not even Americans in the first place. But you know, talking about, there's something that you mentioned that just caught my attention, and there's this image that I have from, there was a time recently last week that they shared palliative sort of to some people in the north, and you remember the story where they came and they stole, not that they stole, the same people that it was meant for just looted the entire thing, and they were not able to completely send it out to everybody. Now with this 32.5 million naira, now that we've seen that they don't have a structure where they can adequately dispatch these funds, what if these people, these bandits, because I'm sure they watch the news, they've heard these stories, what if instead of helping them, this further infuriates them? So they are like, okay, you people have 32.5 million naira somewhere. Maybe the day they are sharing the money or whatever info, I don't know how they get their information, they come and just cause havoc, or they scatter things, or they kidnap, and then they ask for ransom, because that's what they're always doing. What do you think we should do to avoid something like that from happening? Because it has happened before.
Yeah, I think I mentioned it in one of the shows. I mean, those set of persons that 41,000 something, or
over 41.
Yes, total 700 and something thousand persons. I think this set of persons should be registered. I think I mentioned it in one of our shows. They should be registered. These beneficiaries, they should register. And when they register, when the palliatives or whatever they are giving them,
I think they register for the electronic voucher. For them to have the electronic voucher, maybe it means they registered.
So as it's getting to them, let it be made publicly that this family has received.
Public. So what if they find out?
No, you're asking
the bandits. What if they find out and they come to their houses? Because I'm just scared on their behalf.
At the end of the day, God will help us. I'm still, you know, pleading that this banditry that we're always talking about, they are human beings like us. It hurts that these people don't even have, you know, human conscience anymore. These
people are being paid.
They've lost it. You know, like there was one show we had one certain time, and somebody said that before you know, become a pro in something, you must have done that thing over and over again. So it becomes a part and parcel of you. So it's more like they've killed, they've taken lives countlessly, displaced people, abducted people countlessly, that it becomes a norm for them. But at the same time, I really want them, if they could, you know, watch or check from their heart of hearts to still bring out the humanity in them, because it's needed. If it is a different person that is not related to them, it might be somebody related to them tomorrow that they will kill or kidnap.
I love that. You know, I'm also getting a picture. How revolutionary would that be when bandits refuse to be bought, when they refuse to sell their conscience and sell their souls to these politicians that will come waving money in their faces? Because to be honest, like what Mr. Daniel Sacramento said in the morning, he said when a war exceeds 2 to 3 days, then it's no longer just a war, it's politically backed. Do you understand? So, but how revolutionary would that be when these bandits that they are hiring just one day realizes that there is no point in this? First of all, you can't even live peacefully. You're always on the run. The money that you have, you cannot spend this well. You are sleeping in bushes Monday, Tuesday to Saturday. You're always there, and then they're always on your matter. The peace of mind, I don't even understand if they don't have conscience at all, because of the type of things they do, the way they buy some of these people. We've seen some of these videos, and it's really heartbreaking. But it would truly be revolutionary when these people start saying no
Yeah.
to these politicians. Moving on to the next story, it is the situation in Zamfara state. So a video has gone viral where the governor of Zamfara state was in tears talking about the situation of things in Zamfara, the insecurity, and how if he had the power, he would be able to stop it in 2 months. Let's take a quick look at the video before we continue.
Duk da ba zan iya sa su ba, ba zan iya hana su. Amma me in tabbatar da cewa nauyin da Allah ya ɗora na haƙƙin al'umma na yi. Amma duk da haka sai fa abin da aka ce Abuja su saboda zan gaya maka wallahi billahi akwai lokacin da sai na zubar da hawaye dan ga abubuwa ina gani cewa mutane ya kamata su kai wa mutane ɗauki amma ba za su ba sai sun jira daga Abuja. Bacin irin na'urori da na sa wanda bari ga maka wallahi billahi duk inda wani dan bindiga yake yawo in ya fita na sani a wannan zai nuna maka koyo duk inda suka fita muna kallon su mun sani amma ma yanda za mu na ba su motoci na sai sabbin bindigogi da makamantansu. Akwai lokacin da suka fara irin abubuwan da muke fuskanta ne kuma ba za mu fasa abubuwan da muke ba don mu tabbatar da cewa an samu zaman lafiya a wannan jihata.
All right, we just saw that video from Governor Lawal, and that was in Hausa, but just to translate what he was saying, he was basically lamenting about the state of insecurity in Zamfara and how a lot of people have gone because of that. He mentioned the killings that have been going on, the death toll, and how it's impossible for him to live with that, and how he can't even imagine what people are going through, and that was what led to him tearing up. But he said something that was quite alarming. He said that one of the major setbacks that he is currently facing is the fact that the army only receives orders from Abuja, and he doesn't have the power to give an order or tell them to do anything, and they would listen to him. And he said that if given the power, he would be able to end this within 2 months, because he says he knows the whereabouts of these kingpins, of these bandits, where they go to, where they stay, and it would just be a matter of giving the order for them to actually bring all of this to an end. But anyways, do you genuinely think that there is a sort of breach in communication between maybe the state government and the federal government? Because I don't understand why it would just take an order if this is what he's saying is true. And we know that the Nigerian army would not listen to a governor. They have to listen to the president. Why have they not given the order yet?
When I was reading this particular story, I almost teared up, because it's quite sad. Now, I commend him for saying he will combat or fight this menace in 2 months. But let me answer the question you asked earlier before I give you my take on the matter. There is actually no way the government will actually deploy security operatives or hand over security operatives to the state government, because they are definitely going to politicize it. You understand? So they will use it for their own, personal activities, you get, and it could actually cause havoc in the state. So I think that is the reason why they can't actually hand over these people.
But your president just mentioned starting the state police, setting that up.
Yeah, I'm commenting based on what you asked me.
Okay.
And then again, he said something about the by-election, that during the by-election that troops, heavy armed men, military police actually arrived at the venue of the day. So it's not like they don't have the manpower. It's not like they don't have these
Exactly.
security operatives, but the thing there is that the government from Abuja, they don't have authority from Abuja. And there was something he cited. He said when the recent attack in Shinkafi, that security operatives were actually on ground. They could actually do something, but they needed authority from Abuja. So that's why I just told you that they cannot do anything without receiving the distance.
Now the question is, why are they not giving them the order? Why are they not giving them the order?
I just told you the reason why they can't give them the order. The reason why they can't give the states.
No, not the states. I mean,
okay, that's what I don't understand. That's what I think they are using the security of operatives to, you know, for their own benefits, for anything that has to do with politics, without considering that this is a matter of life and death. These are people's lives that you're putting at risk. That's what I am yet to, you know, understand. It's quite painful. Do you know that in 2021 and 2022, 2021 alone, about 300 schoolgirls were kidnapped in this Zamfara, and about 2021, 300 schoolboys were equally kidnapped. It breaks my heart to hear this kind of story. I love the fact that this man came out to say he can actually fight this. See, overconfidence or confidence without delivery is actually noise.
I don't think that's what he's saying.
Calm down. I'm coming to. I'll arrive. And then you know, it's one thing, yeah, to be ambitious. But it's another thing to face reality. What am I talking about? This particular set of individuals that are causing this havoc in this state, they are rugged people. These people are embedded in all the community terrains in that state. So for you to combat or fight them, you need a flawless strategy. You need to seriously strategize, like in all angles, like leave everything on the table, like don't exhaust everything on them. Because even if you're talking about being smart security operatives, they might send security operatives, but can you actually, you know, manage the security operatives that will be sent? It's not just security operatives that is needed. A lot of things. So you need to exhaust them. I love, like I said before, I love the fact that, you know, it pains him, it hurts him, but it's not something that he can do alone. That's what I'm trying to say. Exactly. He needs the hands or the help of every single person. If possible, the UN, the AU, every single hand needs to be on deck, because this is something that has actually eaten into this particular state. And this Zamfara, according to statistics, has actually been hit more than other states, more than Sokoto, Kaduna, Katsina, and the rest of them. This Zamfara has been having these security issues every single year, not even every single day, every single, you know, day. And it's quite sad that a lot of persons are displaced, left in the street to die. Yeah. It is quite sad that a lot of persons cannot even boast of food, like normal food. It is quite sad that, why am I even talking? Can they even find water? The place that you're going to, what's the possibility? Do you even have the money to survive where you're going to? I'm talking about the displaced, the Amajiris, because these people will definitely resort to becoming an Amajiri. And not just that, sending them in different parts of Nigerians. These bandits are seeing them. These bandits will recruit them and they will become a machinery for them. It is quite sad that this thing is what we keep on talking about every single day, and the government is not doing anything about it. Well, I love the fact that he said it, but what I'm telling him is that it's not something that he can do alone. Let's face the reality. He needs a lot of strategies to,
he needs all hands on deck at the end of the day, because this is something that has been happening for way too long. It didn't start yesterday, and it would take a whole lot of combined effort to be able to completely eradicate these hoodlums from the state. But I don't know, I just wanted to ask, you also mentioned the fact that there is no way that this man can do this on his own, and that he needs the help of everybody, especially, in my opinion, the federal government as well. But now, to those people that have been displaced, do we see a possibility, do we see a future whereby they can be integrated back into the society? And let's not even talk about the financial, okay, maybe setting them up, establishing them. It's the traumatic experiences that they've been exposed to. Some of them children that have been exposed to this traumatic experience. With them being integrated back to the society, how do you think that would pan out? How do you think that would look like?
I think it's actually going to be difficult, because I mean, you have been running from one place to another for security over the years, so definitely it will affect your mental health. But at the same time, if they are being, you know, rehabilitated, I feel like it can actually work. I mean, take them to centers whereby they can actually work on their mental, what's it called? Health.
Their health.
Yes, I think with this, it can actually be restored. But at the same time, the people that we are saying they should work on their mental health, is their mental health okay? It is not okay. Do we have the centers that can accommodate this number of children, women, and men? Do we have a center that can... So we still need
infrastructure for that.
Exactly. So we need to nip all these things. A lot of things are going haywire in this country that we need to work on. A lot of things. Like, it's numerous.
They should just start from one. They should start from the insecurity first, to be honest.
I mean, when you have security and you've combated hunger, you've solved 70% of Nigerians' problem, because that's the major issue we're having right now.
Yes.
Apart from the male ladies that we have as leaders.
All right. Thank you so much, Ifeoma Orji, for your contributions and your thoughts. I genuinely enjoyed this conversation. And at the end of the day, I'm still looking forward to that day where we would sit on this table and the discussion would be different. By God's special grace. Thank you so much for doing this. It's always a pleasure.
You're welcome.
To our VIP viewers, thank you as always for joining us on the show. Don't forget to share your comments in the comment section. Follow us across all social media platforms. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you have not done that. And you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, X at Active Citizens. You can also find me on my personal page at Sharon NM Chuku and you, Ifeoma.
You can find me on Facebook at Ifeoma Orji or Orji Sophia, and on Instagram at Miselex.
All right, till we see you later this evening, do have a good afternoon.